Just when you thought the Brooke-Logan versus Taylor-Hayes rivalry had reached its absolute boiling point, the bold and the beautiful flips the matchbook and tosses it straight into a barrel of gasoline, and this time, it's Hope Logan who's trapped at the center of the explosion. What was already decades of buried resentment, romantic sabotage, and psychological warfare between two of the show's most iconic matriarchs has erupted into a full-scale, generational battlefield. And this isn't just a spat over Ridge anymore. This is about legacy, control, redemption, and who's allowed to rewrite the narrative inside the walls of Forrester Creations. It all starts with what looked, on the surface, like a truce. Steffy Forrester, trying to do what's right in the shadow of Liam's devastating diagnosis, extends an olive branch and welcomes Hope back into the Forrester fold. The gesture, while genuinely compassionate on Steffy's end, instantly sets off alarm bells. Brooke sees it as an opportunity to re-establish Hope's footing. Taylor sees it as a trap. But more importantly, both women interpret it as a threat. A new chessboard has been laid out, and both queens are moving aggressively. Brooke-Logan, predictably, switches into full-blown mama bear mode. Her return to the battlefield is fierce, relentless, and let's be real, borderline unhinged. She storms into meetings uninvited. She corners executives. She's at Hope's side constantly, pushing the new and improved narrative like a PR agent on a desperate campaign. She talks about Hope's self-awareness, her emotional growth, her renewed sense of purpose. She points to Hope's reconciliation with Carter Walton as proof that her daughter has learned from the chaos of her past. She insists that this Hope isn't the same woman who kissed a married man, sabotaged a fashion empire, and triggered a boardroom meltdown. But here's the thing. Brooke's intensity doesn't read as confidence. It reads as fear. Her voice may sound defiant, but her eyes betray the panic underneath. She knows what everyone else does, even Hope. This redemption arc is paper-thin. And Taylor can see right through it. Taylor-Hayes walks in armed with receipts, restraint, and one hell of a memory. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't even flinch. She documents every mistake Hope has made, from the infamous kiss with Finn, an act that fractured Steffy's marriage and nearly destroyed a family, to the nearly catastrophic fallout of her affair with Carter, which almost cost Forrester Creations its most stable legal counsel. Taylor isn't just skeptical of Hope's comeback. She's disgusted by the way it's being packaged and sold as if nothing happened. And she refuses to let it slide. Every conversation turns into a courtroom. Every meeting becomes a deposition. Brooke defends. Taylor accuses. And Hope? She's caught in the middle like a fragile exhibit in a war museum, dragged from one emotional trench to another. Taylor doesn't care how many apologies Hope offers. She doesn't care about Liam's illness or Carter's forgiveness. She sees the return of Hope as a dangerous reset, another Logan woman getting bailed out after a scandal by rebranding her mistakes as lessons. Taylor's not having it. She throws the kiss with Finn in Hope's face every chance she gets, reminding the room that Hope crossed lines that no apology can clean up. And then there's the fashion show fiasco. The Forrester runway, once the crown jewel of elegance and innovation, becomes the new battlefield. The backstage area buzzes with nerves, half because of the clothes, half because of the growing threat of a public brawl. Brooke and Taylor are both present. They both hover. They both whisper in the ears of their daughters, spinning separate narratives of what this moment means. When Hope steps on stage to present her line, rescued and rushed thanks to Steffy's last-minute approval, she looks stunning. Poised. Transformed. But the applause is barely out of the air before Taylor and Brooke explode right there, in front of the staff, the models, and the press. Taylor accuses Brooke of orchestrating the entire show as a publicity stunt for Hope's comeback. Brooke counters by calling Taylor a manipulative saboteur who can't stand to see a Logan woman rise. The phrase, "respect my daughter," flies out of Brooke's mouth with the force of a slap. Taylor fires back with, "respect my family's boundaries." Steffi steps in, trying to de-escalate, only to have Brooke throw the original invitation in her face. Carter tries to speak, but is silenced. Hope tries to walk away, but Brooke grabs her arm and holds her in place like a symbol, a trophy, a weapon. This isn't just about fashion. It's a civil war in stilettos. The truth? Neither matriarch respects the other's boundaries. They never have. Brooke has stolen Taylor's men. Taylor has counseled Brooke's children behind her back. Their daughters have become mirror reflections of the rivalry, forced into positions of judgment, of defense, of passive casualties in a war that started decades ago with Ridge and refuses to die. And it's not subtle. Hope's presence at Forrester begins to polarize the staff. Some support her. Some believe in second chances. Others, led quietly by Taylor's influence, believe it's only a matter of time before disaster strikes again. Even Thomas, despite his complicated history with Hope, grows wary. Steffi begins distancing herself from her initial offer. Carter remains torn, caught between genuine affection for Hope and the internal pressure from the Forrester side to choose a camp. Behind closed doors, Taylor meets with Ridge and demands a united front. She doesn't want to push Hope out, but she won't stand by while Brooke manipulates everyone under the banner of maternal instinct. Ridge is conflicted. He still feels loyalty to Brooke, but even he sees the cracks forming. The company is becoming a war zone, and the battle lines are drawn with family names. As weeks pass, the pressure builds. Every misstep Hope makes is magnified. A late delivery becomes a crisis. A misfiled expense report becomes a scandal. Brooke begins to crack under the strain, lashing out at staff, accusing Taylor of spying, even confronting Steffi for being ungrateful. Meanwhile, Taylor grows colder, more methodical. She begins whispering to board members, nudging them toward a vote of no confidence in Brooke's involvement with the creative direction. And Hope? Hope becomes quieter. She smiles less. She second-guesses her own designs. She walks around Forrester like she's balancing on glass. She knows what's happening. She knows this isn't about fashion anymore, it's about survival. And she knows that the only reason she's still standing is because her mother is using every ounce of her energy to hold the walls up around her. But how long can Brooke keep holding them? The answer comes in a single boardroom meeting. Unplanned. Unscripted. Taylor, tired of the passive-aggressive games, calls for clarity. She proposes a motion. That Hope be placed on probation pending a review of her performance and past actions. Steffi, stunned but swayed, supports it. Thomas abstains. Carter refuses to vote. Ridge hesitates. And Brooke? She explodes. What follows is one of the most raw, emotional, and venom-laced monologues the show has ever aired. Brooke defends Hope. She defends herself. She drags up old wounds. She cries. She accuses. She begs. And in the end, she looks at Ridge, her voice cracking, and asks, if it were Steffi in Hope's shoes, would we even be having this conversation? Silence. Vote passes. Hope is officially placed on professional probation. As the meeting ends, Taylor walks out without a word. Brooke stays seated, eyes wet, fists clenched. Hope follows her mother into the hallway. She doesn't cry. She doesn't collapse. She simply says, "Maybe it's time I fought my own battles." Brooke watches her go. And for the first time in years, she doesn't follow. The war between Brooke and Taylor isn't over. It's evolving. And in the middle of it, Hope Logan now stands alone, damaged, determined, and maybe, finally, ready to stop being anyone's pawn. This is no longer a battle of mothers. This is a reckoning. And the bold and the beautiful is just getting started. Just as tensions between Brooke and Taylor reach their most volatile point and Hope Logan stands on the brink of professional exile, the unthinkable happens. Hope collapses in her studio. It starts as a persistent cough. Weeks of stress, anxiety, and sleepless nights have taken their toll. Everyone chalks it up to nerves. Even Hope convinces herself it's nothing. But during a late-night design session surrounded by fabric, alone in a silent office, she doubles over, gasping, her body giving out beneath her. Carter finds her moments later and rushes her to the hospital. And there, amid blood tests and scans, comes the diagnosis that will change everything. Hope Logan has stage 1 lung cancer. The words land like a bomb across Los Angeles. Hope is stunned. She's young, she's healthy, she's never smoked. How could this happen? The doctor explains. The cancer is early but aggressive. The good news? It's operable. If she undergoes surgery immediately, her chances of survival are high. But it must be done soon. Hope nods silently. No tears. No collapse. Just quiet shock. Carter is the first to know. He offers to call Brooke. Hope says no. Not yet. But secrets never stay secrets for long on the bold and the beautiful. Within hours, the news begins to trickle through Forrester creations like wildfire. By the next morning, the entire company knows. And when Brooke arrives storming into Hope's hospital room, face pale, hands shaking, the moment is gut-wrenching. Hope breaks. For the first time in weeks, she lets the weight fall. She sobs in her mother's arms, whispering over and over, "I didn't think I'd be the next one." The diagnosis is more than medical. It's emotional, historical. Liam, her daughter Beth, the loss of Phoebe, the war over custody. Hope has always lived on the edge of survival. Now, she's staring down the one enemy no amount of family legacy, corporate positioning, or romantic defense can defeat: mortality. And suddenly, everything changes. Brooke crumbles. The fire that fueled her war with Taylor dies in an instant. She doesn't think about boardroom votes or public opinion. She sits by her daughter's side every day, brushing her hair back, whispering encouragement, refusing to leave the hospital even for a minute. Her protection isn't strategy now. It's instinct. Taylor hesitates. When she hears the news from Steffi, she doesn't believe it. Not until she sees Hope herself, frail, tired, and pale, walking the hospital hallway with an oxygen monitor clipped to her finger. Taylor's instinct as a mother, and more than that as a doctor, kicks in. She doesn't say anything to Hope. She just watches. And when she does speak, it's to Brooke. Her words are simple, heavy: "We need to stop." Steffi is blindsided. The woman she just helped put on probation is now fighting for her life. She feels guilt. Real, raw guilt. Her mother is urging caution, peace. Her father, Ridge, is telling her to let go. "Let the company go," he says. "Let the war go. What we're doing, it's killing us." But the most complicated reaction comes from within Hope herself. In the wake of her diagnosis, Hope doesn't spiral. She sharpens. She becomes clear. The chaos that consumed her Carter, the job, the politics, the betrayals fades into the background. She's focused now. She wants surgery. She wants recovery. She wants to see Beth grow up. But one question gnaws at her: who stands beside her when everything falls away? Carter is unwavering. He becomes her rock. He attends every appointment. He sits quietly in the room during scans. He tells her without pressure that he's here, no matter what. Liam returns. Word spreads fast, and Liam, still in his own post-treatment haze, shows up at the hospital unannounced. His face says everything. Love, regret, pain. I couldn't lose you too, he tells her. Beth visits once, and that's when Hope decides she will fight. The surgery is scheduled. A lobectomy. Delicate. Urgent. As the day approaches, something extraordinary happens. Brooke and Taylor, seated side by side in the waiting room, hold hands. It's awkward, tense, but sincere. They both want Hope to live. They both remember being young mothers. They both understand what's at stake. And in that shared moment, decades of resentment dissolve, if only briefly. But peace comes with its own complications. With Hope's health taking center stage, the dynamics at Forrester shift overnight. Steffi calls off the probation vote. Ridge suspends all disciplinary action. Taylor volunteers to consult with the hospital staff as a support system, offering her psychiatric expertise to Hope's team. Brooke remains in the hospital day and night. Carter and Liam take shifts. Donna and Katie visit quietly. Even Zend, racked with guilt over past tensions with Hope, sends flowers and offers to finish her abandoned line. But not everyone is convinced this truce will last. Whispers begin. Some say Hope is using her diagnosis to dodge responsibility. Others suggest Brooke is manipulating the sympathy into renewed power for the Logans. A few board members led by more skeptical voices hint that when Hope recovers, the war will resume, worse than before. And then comes the twist. While preparing for surgery, Hope requests her medical file out of curiosity, maybe, or control. Inside it, buried deep in the diagnostic reports, is a note she wasn't supposed to see. It reveals that a previous Forrester executive accessed her files weeks earlier before the official diagnosis. Hope confronts the hospital. After pressure, they reveal a request was made by someone under the alias M. Hayes. Taylor's middle name is Madison. Hope brings the report to her mother. Brooke erupts. She confronts Taylor at the hospital, screaming that Taylor knew something was wrong and didn't say anything. Taylor denies it. She claims she was checking in as a professional, concerned about Hope's behavior and stress levels, not looking for cancer. But Brooke doesn't believe her. The peace fractures. Again. Only this time, Hope is watching it all. She steps between them, weaker than ever, connected to an four drip. She raises her voice, not loud, but firm. If you're going to kill each other, do it after I'm gone. But not today. Not in front of me. It's a moment of reckoning. And just like that, the room goes still. The surgery goes forward. It's successful. Hope will recover with time, treatment, and love. But nothing will ever be the same. The rivalry between Brooke and Taylor is no longer theoretical. It's infected every corner of their lives, poisoned every possible path to healing. And now it nearly cost them everything. Hope survives. But her return to Forrester won't be about redemption or reputation. It'll be about truth. About setting boundaries. About ending cycles. And this time, she won't be anyone's weapon. She won't be a symbol. She'll be the one calling the shots. In the bold and the beautiful, tragedy doesn't just shake lives. It reshapes them. And for Hope Logan, her survival is just the beginning of a new kind of war, one she intends to win on her terms.